Hello guys from Plant Review. Today's second video of the day. I will talk about a gorgeous relative of the grey hyacinth Muscari. This is the Bellevalia pychnanta. Bellevalia is a genus of plants related to Muscari and Leopoldia, so the grey hyacinths. It is distinguished by by the Muscari because of the shape of the flower. As you can see, the flowers are clearly quite open, and while in Muscari the shape of the flower is different. They are more rounded. They have a very small rim, like a small entrance for the insects to go, while in Bellevalia, as you can see, the flower doesn't actually, it's not very narrow at the opening is not very narrow in comparison to the flower. The opening is just about the same width of the rest of the flower. That's at least what I've read. And then, you know, scientists always change mind about plant classification, so we'll see. Anyway, in the past this plant was classified as Muscari paradoxum. I found today, I found that is usually now classified as Bellevalia pychnanta or Bellevalia paradoxa. I bought it from Farmer Graces last autumn as Bellevalia pychnanta, but also on the website they were talking about this species as a synonym of Muscari paradoxum. The plant grows in the wild in Georgia and Turkey. It is a bulbous plant like the grape, like all grape hyacinths. The bulbs are about 2 centimeters in size. It has about 2-3 leaves that are quite narrow at the base. They get a little bit larger in the mid part of the leaf and a very pointy tip. The leaves, the plant itself in total is about 30-40 centimeters tall. Especially the flower spike actually can grow quite tall against the foliage. In some cases the flowers are clustered in racemes. That is like in group of flowers called racemes. The flowers, when they start blooming, they are arranged in a very conical shape. As you can see, it's really like a cone-shaped raceme, and the flowers are very tight, clustered all together. While growing, the first flowers, the flowers that open first are at the bottom, and then they basically open from the bottom to the top. And while they are opening, they become more pendulous. And at the end of the flowering you have a spike like this, with the flowers quite actually distant from each other. So if you want actually to collect the seeds after when they are ripen, it will be quite easy to get them. It's quite you can see how far from each other are the flowers when they have been pollinated. Even I think even when the flowers actually faded, it is still quite elegant. The shape of this raceme, very it's very elegant to have these little spikes ending with a small rounded dry flower at the end. The plant the color of the plant is an absolutely dark blue purple, as you can see, and it's very is very contrasting against the green foliage. And I've cultivated this one in a pot together with the Tulipa prestans. That is a bright red tulip, and the contrast between the green, the red, and this dark blue purple was incredible. Unfortunately, not a tulip flowers have gone. They faded away, so I have been left just with this still stunning blue-purple display from the Bellevalia pychnanta. The flowers are also slightly fragrant, and that's something I like of this plant. Obviously, I would have liked to have a little bit more of a fragrance, but unfortunately sometimes you can't have all. The fragrance is kind of sweet and spicy as well. You really have to stick the nose in near the flower to smell it. So I would recommend this plant mainly for the color, for the very beautiful color of the flowers, especially of the buds, as you can see. And the shape is also very nice. It looks literally like an arrow when the flower spike is coming up. The blooms are well, this plant blooms in April. I also read on website it blooms in April, obviously in the northern hemisphere, and the UK, well, on the 21st of April, as you can see by the flower spikes that are blooming now and from the ones that are fading away now. Definitely April is the main month of blooming. I read that these blooms can last up to 25 days. To this 21st of April I saw the first buds opening in actually already late March, so I would probably say, yeah, it is right. Maybe obviously the more plants you have, the longer the blooming season. So suppose the 25 days was talking about just the same plant as the period for blooming. Cultivation requirements is for most bulbous plants the soil needs to be free draining. I don't have any problem in using common compost I find in the supermarket. Well, obviously you're more than welcome to buy the specific bulb compost. This plant requires full sun to partial shade in a pot. I was lucky enough to plant it in full sun, and it really enjoyed. I had a lot of flowers from these. I bought 25 bulbs, and as you can see, I have lots of flowers. So I suppose all of them flower, or at least most of them. And even if being in a pot, they were not really far from each other, and they were also shared a pot with tulips as well. Usually it's recommended to plant the bulbs apart about 5-10 centimeters from each other and about 5-10 centimeters deep as well. It is fully hardy in the UK. It's very I mean, we didn't have any snow in Kent this year. I've read it is hardy, even if not as hardy as the grape hyacinths of the genus Muscari. So I've read that if you live in a very cold area, it is recommended with severe frosts. It's better to mulch them, or otherwise you can just lift the bulbs up. However, in Kent, and I imagine in southern England and most parts of the UK anyway, you can easily cultivate them outside without any problems. About zones of the USDA zones, I found that it is hardy from zone 7 to 9, therefore it's perfectly fine in the UK anyway. The bulbs are not as common as Muscari bulbs to find. I've never found this plant in garden centers. However, a few nurseries online have commonly this one in stock. Farmer Gracie is one, but you can find some other British nurseries as well that have it. The bulbs need to be planted mid to late autumn, and obviously, as with all bulbs that you can find a point, like a pointy bulb. Pointy bulbs need to be planted with a pointy side up and with a rounded area. That is where the roots are born downwards. This is absolutely lovely plant to have in the garden or in a pot, like me. I definitely will you won't regret to buy a few for your floral display in spring. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.